Welcome back to the 406 Stacker channel, coming to you from the last best place. It's been a little over 2 weeks since my last update. I'm going to share some of why that is here in a minute, but I thought I would just go over some recent things that I picked up, found, prospecting on, and then also go over my last video. I mentioned that I was going to be selling some silver, so I wanted to show you what that looks like too. So let's start off first with a couple that I picked up. This is Honest Values Never Fail, 1974. Constitution mint on the back, right? This is one I got at Grizzly Gold and Silver here in Missoula. Picked him up for spot plus $3. So pretty happy to get one of them. A lot of guys like to collect them. I also picked this up. It's a Montana Silver Reserve. It has our state motto there. Grizzly on the back. Fitting that it came from Grizzly Gold and Silver as well. Picked him up. He's about $40. So paid a little bit more, but I like anything with Montana on it. Which leads me to this guy. I've seen these on eBay. On eBay, they say they're sterling. They're 25 grams. I weighed this one up. It's 22, so I don't think this one is sterling. The sterling ones normally have a number stamped here, and they normally say sterling on the side. So I don't know what this one is. I just picked this up at a little coin jewelry shop for $5. This is Fort Benton. This is where the ferries came up on the Missouri River. So like I said, I'm not sure what type of metal it is. I'll take it into the shop this week and they can test it and see. I don't think it's anything special, but again, it's from Montana. Thought it was kind of a cool piece. My wife actually found these. I don't know, must have bought them at some point recently, or not recently. They were in something she was cleaning and she came across them. So great, I got another $1 of junk silver, constitutional silver. And then I also picked this up at that same coin shop. This is Three Little Pigs. And I believe it's either sterling or silver. I'm not sure. It's old, regardless. But for $5, I figured I'd pick it up. If it is sterling or silver, it's about 22 grams. So $5 was cheap. If not, it's a collectible. I remember hearing about these Three Little Pigs when I was real little, right? As does everybody. So picked them up for $5. On to the selling of the silver. Okay, so I'll include a video of the grader that I purchased with my father. And I wanted to come up with an extra $1,000 to put towards it. So I did some quick math, grabbed a couple of bars out of the safe, and then went down to the local shop. So here's what I got. I had two 10-ounce silver bars. They were just the ape holding the rocket ship, right? Silver squeeze bars. They paid me 50 cents back a spot. You know, when you're buying something, you can't wait till a peak. So that's what I bought or sold it for at that time. 1 ounce silver. I sold, I think, 15 buffaloes and a couple of Philharmonicas. Not real sold on the Philharmonicas. They're not real special. They don't have any reading on them. They're probably my least favorite sovereign coin. So I sold some of them along with some buffaloes. Again, 50 cents back a spot. So I went back in my records. I bought back in 22. Well, here it is. This is what I bought on that day. It was a pretty good day. Two 10-ounce silver bars, $274. I sold them for $267.50. So I lost $13 on the two silver bars. So $7, 70 cents an ounce is what I lost on those. Keep in mind, this is with a premium, and then this is 50 cents back a spot. So pretty good store value. I mean, it's gone up a little bit. And then the 20-ounce silver rounds, those were just generics. And you can see I paid $27.40 for those. Sold for $26.75. So, again, about 70 cents an ounce. So if I would have waited just a week or two, I would have actually made a little bit of money. I don't very often sell silver. I certainly don't buy and sell silver to make a profit. For me, it's a way of savings. Who knows where that $1,000 would have been if I wouldn't have bought silver with it. Fortunately, I did. I was able to sell some of my stuff that I didn't care about too much and put some money towards our grader. I'm going to give you guys a quick tour of why I've been absent for the last couple of weeks. Trying to get back on track, make another video here at the end of the week or the beginning of next week. But I'm going to show you a little bit of life on the homestead, and then we'll come back and I'm going to also do a little bit of a challenge to help you encourage new stackers. Here's another one of my projects. Got these just a little over a week ago. They're doing pretty good. They're drinking about a quart of that water a day. It's 1-to-1 sugar with water, so 2.5 cups of sugar, 2.5 cups of water in that. Seems like they're drinking about $10, $12 worth of sugar a week, which is pretty crazy. You can see them coming in and out. One of my projects and why I have not been posting a whole lot lately. Another project I just finished up. Nice little chicken coop. Nest box. Of course, here's the main area. Just got this restained. You can tell I can't spell real good. If you can't tell, that is on purpose. So just one of many projects that I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Oh, here's another project. So this is why I ended up selling a few ounces of silver. Went in with my dad to purchase this. Hydraulic pump used to go on here. It has a long shaft that runs between the motor through the transmission to here. And it's been wrecked 3 different times. Once on the hydraulic side, once on the motor side, and then the shaft got torn up once. So I'm remounting it back here. So I've removed where the old alternator was. Let's see if I can do this. So my new hydraulic pump, or the new pump, will go here. We'll tension it off the bottom down there. Run it off a belt. That way if anything happens, it'll just throw the belt or break them. And then I'm going to run this alternator on this bracket here. Put this, something like that. Run that off the water pump. Should work in theory. So again, just another project of many. So in my last couple of videos on the grader and stuff, you've heard these guys in the background. This is one of the new kids there. New one under there. They were both males. They're wethers now, which means they've been castrated. These are Nubian dairy goats, although the boys end up being meat goats for us. These are miniature Herefords, and their calf, you can see, it's pretty wild. Over here is our bull, and then there's a steer over here. This time of year, there's lots of new life on the homestead. Some of the new life, these are chickens that we just hatched out a little over a month ago. They're about 6 weeks old now. So 7 of them made it. And yeah, lots of new life this time of year on the homestead. So we do rotational grazing. We have these pastures split up so that we can put fence netting across them and give the animals about 10 feet of pasture every day or two. We make them eat it down and then we can move them on. we are working on this fence line right here. So when we bought this property, it had been logged. They didn't do a very great job logging it. And there's 3 ways they can deal with slash in Montana. They can chip it, which is the most expensive, but also the most beneficial to the woods. They can pile it up and burn it, which is what most people do. The cheapest and worst way is to pile it up in a line and drive over it and squish it down until it's less than 12 inches high. That's what they chose to do on my property. So our fence line, you can see straight down through there, and with the clear cut, this is what we're dealing with. So I'm going to walk up here. You can see my pups running around. Miss Chloe here just had some babies. I'll show you those in a minute. So this is what we have to clear to get a fence line in. And there's one of my corner property stakes. We have 40 acres, so it's a quarter-mile square, okay? And this is where we're going, right up through here. And it takes, to go every 100 feet, about 5 to 6 hours. It is not fun to clear it. It has to be done to get a fence in. This is one of the skid trails I was telling you about. This was logged 25 years ago. And because we don't have a lot of moisture most of the year, this is what's left. It's just infuriating. I mean, you can imagine what the fire would do if it comes through here. It's just gonna smolder all this stuff. But that's what they did. They chopped things up, run over it, and my whole property has this every couple 100 feet where they skidded. I'll show you what it looks like where we've cleared so you can get an appreciation for it. Alright, hopefully you can hear me over the four-wheeler. That is another property line there. You can see another skid trail. Comes across a little open area. And then this is where we're headed. This is a quarter-mile long property line. I've been working on it for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I'll just ride you along it so you can kind of see what it looks like after. So of this quarter mile, that's what I've done so far. Got the chipper out, chipped some of it. That was so time consuming that we gave up on that. So right there is the other property marker. So that's a quarter mile that we just went. I got dogs everywhere. We're dog poor. We got 9 in my house right now. I got 3 in my parents' house, and then my ranch hand has 1. So in Montana, this time of year, we get a lot of runoff. You can see how damp it is. These guys are all smoky yardy, I think, from Canada. We have a short window between when we can, we have snow up to our eyeballs, and then when we can burn and then course, stop burning because it gets so dry. So within a couple of weeks, we won't be able to do any more burning. So I have just from right back there to this property line to get, and then over here, we've already done this property line up to where I showed you before. There's about 500 feet that has to go. Yeah, the property line goes, oh, it's kind of hard to see here. It goes right through there. So almost a half a mile of fence we need to do on this section. That'll give us a lot more grazing for our cattle, which will let us make a little bit more hay on a section that we pastured last year. It's pretty common in Montana to run cattle in the woods, get a lot of these grasses that grow in these old clearings. Like I said, you can see it's terrible how they logged out here, and it's getting better now. But these skid trails that they placed, you can see they had pretty big trees here. Now everything is pretty much 20 to 30 years old, 30 feet. These lodgepole are a good tree to measure age by. Every time you see where these branches come out is 1 year growth. So, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on all the way up, about 20 years old. So, another project that's kept me away from stacking here recently. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little tour of the homestead. Been real busy. Got a lot of projects accomplished. Still working on some. As you can see, I got to put the grader the rest of the way together. I'll be taking that template that I made down to the local steel shop. They'll plasma cut it out for me this week. I'll get a piece of DOM steel to put the bolt through and get it spaced right, weld some gussets on it, and then hopefully we can start grading. It's the perfect time of year to grade. There's lots of moisture in the ground. You don't want to grade when it's too dry or your road never packs in before winter and then you have a mess. You don't want to grade when it's too wet because it packs in too good and makes a sloppy mess and then you have ruts. So right now is about the perfect time. So working on that double time to get that done. The challenge that I wanted to put forth to you. I work in a service industry. I'm not going to tell you what I do, but I'm in customers' homes almost every day. And nothing is more meaningful to me than when somebody offers to give me a bottle of water, a soda, a coffee in the morning, and sometimes tips, right? One of the ways that I tip when I have people deliver gravel for me, when I have people fill my propane tanks, in this recent case when I just had my septic pumped, I like to tip with silver. And I'll typically give people a couple of choices. So my recent serviceman, I gave him a choice. I asked him whether he wanted a Silver Eagle or a Cougarand. And I explained to him both of what they were. Lots of times I'll do a Buffalo too, and you'd be surprised. Most people will take a Buffalo over a Silver Eagle, which is funny to me. But this guy ended up taking an Eagle. It was a 23. This is a 20. I got a bunch of 20s. I'm trying to finish off a tube of 20s. But he took the 23, and I was happy to give it to him. And the reason is there's something special, like when you hold on to silver, and most of my audience is going to know this, when you hold on to silver, when you put silver together, right, that sound that it makes, the vibration that it gives off, it's something special. And I want other people to experience that. I'd like to get new people into the hobby of collecting and stacking. It helps the community if we ever have a situation where barter is needed and other people have some idea of silver and the value of it. So I always do that. I encourage you guys, if you have a service member of any type of service done at your home, or if you have a business, yeah, I mean that's a nice tip, right? $40 right now, just about. But you know, it's just money at the end of the day. It helps somebody out. Most of the time I can tell whether people appreciate it or if they're just going to run right down to the store and cash it in right away. It's hard to read this guy. I think that he's probably going to hold on to it. I had my propane guy. I gave him a Buffalo the first time he was up here. Last year when he was here, I gave him another Buffalo. And he had told me that since I had given him that first one, he had been at the local coin shop and bought 5 more. So great. He's not a huge collector, but at least he's got something. He's got 7 ounces that I know of right now, which is more than 99% of the people in the world. So, by me doing that one act, by giving him that, we created another stacker in the community. Like I said, he's not a huge stacker, but he's better off than most people. So just encourage you guys, if you have an opportunity to get somebody involved by, tipping them with silver. I do this at hotels too. Lots of times um, I'll take quarters, like if I have leftover quarters from laundry, make a smiley face, right? So we'll make a little smiley face, and then maybe for the nose, I'll leave a 50-cent piece. Or I don't ever leave constitutional silver because it's too easy just for people to lose. But people know that that's something, right? They don't get those very often. So I'll quite often leave that with a note, and I'll let them know, hey, right now this is worth X amount. Hold on to it because this is a store of wealth. Someday it'll be worth much more. And, if they squander it right away by taking it down to the pawn shop and selling it for $20, that's on them. I did my part to try to get them involved. If you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing. Channel is growing a little bit. Probably grow better if I would continually post, but I appreciate anybody that gives me a thumbs up, shares, or subscribes. Until next time, stack as big as the sky.